The night of the hunt, the forest around the Erythra village was tense, almost silent. The usual sounds of nocturnal creatures had vanished, replaced by a heavy stillness that made Liam's skin crawl. Even Kayla, so familiar with this world, moved cautiously, her senses sharp and alert. Liam stood beside her, heart pounding. The vision from the Cave of Truth still haunted him. The dark figure, the shadow hunter, and the threat to Kayla's people. Now it was no longer a distant warning. It was real. It was coming. The tribe gathered in the clearing beneath the towering ancient trees. Flames from the torches flickered, casting long shadows on the faces of the Erythra warriors. Their expressions were fierce, determined, but there was an undercurrent of fear. The elder stepped forward. His voice was steady but heavy. Tonight, the shadow hunter returns with his hunters. We stand united to defend our home. Liam looked around. These were not just fighters, they were family bonded by blood and struggle. And now he was part of them. Kayla turned to him, her eyes shining in the firelight. You will fight with us, Liam. The tribe must see your strength. Liam swallowed hard but nodded. I'm ready. Suddenly, a low growl rolled through the forest. A warning and a challenge. The hunters had arrived. From the shadows, twisted, shapes emerged. Creatures fierce and wild, their eyes glowing with cruel intent. Behind them, the shadow hunter stepped forward. He was even more terrifying than Liam imagined, tall and shadowed with a presence that seemed to suck the light away. The tribe's warriors raised their weapons. Kayla stepped beside Liam. Stay close, she whispered. The battle erupted, like a storm. Liam fought fiercely, his training and courage tested to the limit. But the shadow hunter was unlike any enemy he had faced. Fast, strong, and cunning. He seemed to know Liam's every move. At one point, the shadow hunter locked eyes with Liam, and Liam felt a cold chill run down his spine. It was as if the creature could see into his soul, his fears, his doubts. Kayla was beside him, cutting down hunters with swift, powerful strikes. She fought like a wild beast, fierce and graceful. But then, the shadow hunter disappeared into the trees, leaving a challenge behind, a silent promise that this fight was far from over. The tribe regrouped, breathing heavily, wounds slow to heal. The elder approached Liam. You fought well, but the shadow hunter will return, and next time, he will bring more than hunters. Liam looked at Kayla, who nodded gravely. We need to find the source of his power, before it destroys us all. Dawn broke. Liam realized this was more than a battle. It was a war for survival, for love, and for a future he never dreamed possible. Secrets beneath the moonlight. The forest had grown quieter since the battle, but Liam could feel the tension in every leaf and shadow. The tribe moved carefully, their eyes always watching, their weapons ready. The shadow hunter's threat hung over them like a storm cloud, dark and inevitable. Kayla led Liam to a hidden path, winding down into the roots of a great ancient tree. There is a secret place, she said softly, where the oldest tribe members guard knowledge about the shadow hunter. Liam followed her down the narrow tunnel, the air cool and damp. The walls glistened with strange markings, ancient symbols that seemed to pulse with energy. At the end of the tunnel was a chamber carved into the earth, filled with glowing stones and old relics. There, sitting in a circle, were the tribe's elders, gray-haired, wise, and serious. The eldest, a woman named Thalia, looked at Liam with sharp eyes. You have come far, outsider. The shadow hunter is more than a beast. He is a curse born from our darkest past. Liam's heart quickened. What do you mean? What is this curse? Thalia sighed. Long ago, our people were betrayed by one of their own. A warrior consumed by jealousy and rage. He made a dark pact with the shadow forces of this world. From that pact, the shadow hunter was born, a creature with endless hunger for power and destruction. Kayla stepped forward. The shadow hunter's strength comes from a dark crystal, an artifact hidden deep beneath this land. If we destroy it, We can break his power. Liam's mind raced. Where is this crystal? Thalia pointed to a map, carved on the wall. In the heart of the forbidden chasm, an abyss where light never reaches. Many have tried to retrieve it. None have returned. The room fell silent. Kayla looked at Liam, her eyes burning with determination. We must go, tonight, under the full moon, when the crystal's power is weakest. Liam felt a chill. This mission would be more dangerous than any before, but he also felt a strange calm, a connection to Kayla and her people that gave him strength. As the moon rose high, they prepared for the journey. The tribe's warriors offered gifts and blessings, their faces filled with hope and fear. Liam looked at Kayla, standing tall and fierce beside him. We face death together, he said quietly. She smiled, a rare and soft moment. And maybe life after. The path to the forbidden chasm was treacherous, twisting through jagged rocks and eerie silence. Shadows moved around them, and Liam felt eyes watching from the darkness. Suddenly, a sharp cry pierced the night. Kayla spun, weapons drawn, but there was no one there. Then Liam saw it, a flicker of movement, a flash of red eyes disappearing into the shadows. The shadow hunter, Kayla whispered. They pressed forward, hearts pounding, each step bringing them closer to the abyss and to the heart of the enemy's power. The final battle and the new beginning, the edge of the forbidden chasm yawned before Liam and Kayla like a dark wound in the planet's surface. The abyss stretched down into endless shadows, swallowing all light. A cold wind swept through, carrying whispers of forgotten fears and ancient dangers. Kayla gripped Liam's hand tightly. Beyond this point, nothing is certain, but we have no choice. They began their descent using ropes and clawed boots to scale the jagged walls. The deeper they went, the heavier the air became, thick with an unnatural darkness that seemed alive, watching. At the bottom, a cavern opened, vast and silent except for a faint pulsing glow ahead. Liam's heart hammered as they moved toward it. There, on a pedestal carved from black stone, lay the dark crystal. It radiated cold power, its surface swirling with shadows like liquid night. Suddenly, the shadow hunter appeared, towering and terrible, his red eyes blazing with fury. You dare to challenge me? His voice echoed like thunder. Kayla stepped forward, fearless. Your reign ends now. The battle began. Liam fought beside Kayla, using every skill he had. But the shadow hunter was more than a warrior. He was a force of darkness, twisting the shadows around him into deadly weapons. At one point, the shadow hunter struck Kayla down, and Liam's world froze. Desperation surged through him. Then, from deep inside, Liam felt something awaken, a strength born from his bond with Kayla and the tribe. His body moved faster, his mind sharper. He grabbed a shard of crystal broken from the pedestal and plunged it into the shadow hunter's chest. The creature screamed, a sound of rage and pain, and the shadows around it began to dissolve. Kayla rose wounded but alive, and together they delivered the final blow. The crystal shattered, sending a wave of light through the cavern. The darkness lifted, and the shadow hunter vanished, broken and powerless. Exhausted but victorious, Liam and Kayla embraced, their bond stronger than ever. As they climbed back toward the surface, the tribe greeted them with cheers and tears. The planet, once shadowed by fear, seemed to breathe again, hope shining in every star. Liam knew his life had changed forever. He was no longer just an explorer. He was a mate, a warrior, and a part of something greater. Together with Kayla and her tribe, he would face whatever the universe threw at them, because now he had a home. End of story. Secrets unveiled. The days after the coordinator's warning felt heavier than before. Jason and Tali knew they had to be cautious, but the feelings between them only grew stronger. Every shared glance, every accidental touch seemed to speak louder than words. The silence between them was thick with unspoken emotions. One evening, Jason was studying in his room when he heard a soft tapping on the window. He looked up and saw Tali standing outside, looking nervous but determined. Jason opened the window carefully, letting Tali slip inside. "I wanted to talk," Tali whispered. "Away from others." Jason nodded, closing the window. "What's on your mind?" Tali's eyes searched his. "I have a secret, something I have never told anyone here." Jason leaned forward, intrigued. "What is it?" Tali hesitated. "On my planet, relationships like ours are not forbidden. In fact, love is celebrated openly. But here, the rules are strict. I fear what might happen if we are discovered." Jason frowned. "I don't want to lose you, Tali, but we can't hide forever." Tali looked away, then suddenly asked, "Do you trust me?" Jason's heart skipped a beat. "Of course." Tali smiled faintly. "Good, because I have a way to protect us. But it is risky." Jason's curiosity grew. "Tell me." Tali reached into a small pouch and pulled out a glowing crystal, warm to the touch. "This is a memory crystal. It can erase specific memories from others." Jason's eyes widened. "Erase memories? Like what?" "If we are seen together, or if someone finds out about us, we can use this to make them forget. It is a gift from my people for dangerous situations." Jason stared at the crystal, feeling its strange energy. "Isn't that dangerous? What if something goes wrong?" Tali nodded. "It is not without risk, but it is our only chance." Jason thought for a moment. "Okay, but we should only use it if we have no choice." Tali agreed. "Yes, we must be careful." Just then, Jason's phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number flashed. "We're watching you." Jason's hands trembled. "Tali. Someone knows." Tali's eyes darkened. "This is worse than I thought." The two sat in silence, fear and excitement swirling between them. The next day, strange things started happening around campus. Jason noticed people whispering behind their backs, some staring too long. The program coordinators seemed colder, more distant. Then came the unexpected invitation, a formal event for all exchange participants, held in the Grand Hall. Jason and Tali knew this was their chance to face whatever was coming, but also a risk. The entire program's officials and participants would be there. Jason felt his throat tighten as he prepared for the night. "We have to stick together," he said. Tali nodded, glowing faintly under the dim lights. Together. The hall was breathtaking, tall crystal walls, floating lights, and alien music that filled the air with mystery. Jason felt out of place among the crowd of humans and aliens, all dressed in their best. But Tali looked calm, almost regal. Suddenly, the program director, a tall alien with silver skin and sharp eyes, stepped forward. "Welcome, everyone," the director began. "This program is a symbol of peace and understanding, but it requires trust and respect." Jason glanced at Tali nervously. The director's eyes locked onto Jason and Tali. "We have heard rumors of rule violations." A hush fell over the crowd. Jason swallowed hard, heart pounding. The director continued, "Such behavior threatens the program and endangers all participants." Jason felt heat rise in his cheeks. Before he could respond, Tali stepped forward bravely. "We care for each other. We only want to learn and grow." The director's face showed no emotion. "Rules are rules. Yet your courage is noted." Then, unexpectedly, the director smiled slightly. "Perhaps there is something to learn here." Jason and Tali exchanged confused glances. The director spoke again, softer this time. "Tomorrow you will face a test, one that will decide if your bond is strong enough to continue." Jason's heart dropped. "A test?" "Yes. A test of trust, loyalty, and courage. Be ready." As the crowd began to move, Jason whispered to Tali, "What kind of test?" Tali looked serious. "I do not know, but we must be prepared." That night, Jason barely slept. His mind raced with possibilities. Was this test a challenge? A trap? Or something else entirely? He thought of the memory crystal in Tali's pouch, the warning message, and the strange feelings between them. One thing was clear. Their journey was no longer just about an exchange program. It was about fighting for their right to be together, no matter the odds. Jason looked at Tali, who sat quietly, eyes closed as if preparing for what was to come. "This is just the beginning," Jason said softly. Tali opened their eyes, glowing with quiet strength. "Together, we will face anything." The test of trust, the morning of the test, arrived like a thunderstorm in Jason's chest. His heart beat faster than ever as he and Tali walked side by side toward the central chamber, a mysterious room known only to those who had reached this point in the alien exchange program. The air inside the chamber was cold, but it hummed with an electric energy. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls, shifting and changing colors as if alive. A deep voice echoed through the room. "Welcome, Jason and Tali. Your test begins now." Jason looked at Tali, whose eyes shimmered with calm determination. Suddenly, the floor beneath them began to glow, and a holographic projection appeared, a maze filled with challenges designed to test their minds and hearts. "The maze of truth," the voice explained. "Only those with true trust and understanding can pass." Jason swallowed hard. "What do we do?" Tali stepped forward. "We face it together." The maze began to change, showing visions from their memories, moments of joy, fear, and confusion. Jason's first challenge appeared, a vision of his childhood, where he felt alone and scared. He reached out, and Tali's hand found his, grounding him. "Remember," Tali whispered, "you are not alone." As they moved deeper, the maze tested more than memories. It tested emotions, jealousy, doubt, and fear. At one point, a vision showed Jason alone with another alien, making him question his feelings, but Tali's voice broke through the illusion. "Trust me. We are stronger together." Jason shook off the doubt, realizing the maze was trying to divide them. Suddenly, the maze flickered, and a new figure appeared. The program director. "I see you've made it this far," the director said coldly. "But your final challenge is the hardest yet." The chamber darkened, and a screen lit up showing a secret from Tali's past, a hidden truth about their origins that even Jason had never known. Jason's breath caught. "Tali, is this true?" Tali nodded slowly. "I come from a forbidden planet, one that was cast out for breaking ancient laws." Jason's mind raced. "Is that why the program is against us?" "Yes," Tali admitted. "They fear what I represent." Jason stepped closer. "I don't care about your past, I care about you." But the maze was not finished. Suddenly, Jason was separated, trapped behind a shimmering barrier. "Tali!" he called desperately. Tali's eyes filled with determination. "I will find a way." Jason faced a series of puzzles alone, puzzles that challenged his logic and his courage. Each solved puzzle brought him closer to Tali, but also revealed deeper fears about losing her. Meanwhile, Tali navigated her own part of the maze, fighting strange illusions designed to break her spirit. Suddenly, she heard a voice, not from the chamber, but from inside her own mind. "Leave him. You don't belong here." Tali shook her head fiercely. "No, we belong together." With a burst of energy, Tali shattered the illusion and rushed toward Jason. When they finally reunited, the maze shifted again, this time showing a vision of the future. A future where they were forced apart by the program, or where they fought together to change the rules. Jason looked at Tali. "We have a choice." Tali smiled, a fierce glow in their eyes. "We fight." The chamber's walls began to dissolve, revealing the entire program team watching them. The director stepped forward. "You have shown courage and trust. But the question remains, are you ready to face the consequences?" Jason and Tali stood side by side, their hands intertwined. "We are," Jason said firmly. Tally nodded. Together. The room exploded with light, and when it faded, everything had changed. The aftermath and the hidden threat. When the blinding light from the test faded, Jason and Tally found themselves standing in the center of the grand hall once more. But something was different. The air felt heavier, charged with tension. The program director's expression was unreadable, but Jason could sense an undercurrent of something darker beneath the surface. "You have passed the test," the director announced, but that was only the beginning. Jason glanced at Tally, whose usual calm was shaken. "What do you mean?" he asked. Before the director could answer, a sharp alarm echoed through the building. Red lights flashed. The walls trembled slightly, as a hidden door slid open at the far end of the hall. From the shadows emerged several figures, not participants, but agents from an unknown organization, dressed in black suits and armed with advanced technology. One of them spoke with a cold, mechanical voice. "You two are a threat to the program. You must come with us." Jason's heart pounded. "Who are you? What do you want?" The agents didn't answer. They moved swiftly toward Jason and Tally. Tally stepped in front of Jason, her eyes glowing. "Bright. We won't go without a fight." Jason reached for the memory crystal in Tally's pouch. "We have to be careful." Suddenly, the agents activated devices that sent out pulses, disrupting the glowing energy around Tally. She staggered, struggling to keep control. Jason shouted, "Tally, use the crystal if you need to." Tally hesitated, then crushed the crystal in her hand. A wave of light spread through the hall, and for a moment the agents froze, their memories clouded. But the pause was brief. The leader of the agents raised a small device, reversing the effect. "We are prepared for this," he said. "Your defiance only makes things worse." Jason and Tally realized they were outmatched. But the sudden appearance of allies changed the tide. From behind a pillar, other participants stepped forward. Some human, some alien, all united. "We stand with them," one said. The agents faltered, facing unexpected resistance. Jason and Tally exchanged a glance. Hope was not lost. But as the battle unfolded, Jason noticed something strange. One of the agents moved differently, slower, as if controlled by something else. "Wait," Jason whispered. "There's more to this." He reached out and touched the agent's arm. To his shock, beneath the skin was a network of glowing circuits. The agent was a robot. Tally's eyes widened. "They have been replaced. Or controlled." Jason's mind raced. "This isn't just about us. The program is under attack from inside." The group managed to push the agents back, but the threat was clear. Someone powerful wanted to destroy the exchange program and silence anyone who dared to challenge the rules. Jason and Tally knew their journey had taken a dangerous turn. They had to uncover who was behind the attack and why. As the hall returned to silence, the program director approached them again. "This changes everything," the director said gravely. "We must work together or risk losing everything." Jason nodded. "We're ready, but first we need answers." Tally added, "And protection." The director hesitated, then pulled out a small device. "This will help you detect those who are not what they seem. Use it wisely." Jason took the device, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The program was no longer just an exchange. It was a battlefield, and the next move could be the difference between survival and total destruction, secrets unveiled and shadows closing. In the device the director had given Jason hummed softly in his palm, a small, sleek gadget with a glowing blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Tally examined it carefully. "This will help us find the foe. Robots hiding among us," Tally explained, "but it can only detect artificial beings within a close range." Jason nodded. "We have to be careful who we trust." The atmosphere in the program's headquarters had shifted. Once a place of excitement and discovery, it now felt like a maze filled with hidden dangers. Every glance seemed suspicious. Every shadow could hide an enemy. Jason and Tally decided to investigate quietly. They moved through the corridors, scanning each person they passed with the device. Most passed the test, but a few lights blinked red. "Look here," Jason whispered, pointing toward a program official named Riven, who always acted strangely distant. Tally stepped forward and activated the device. The blue glow shifted sharply to red. "That's one," she said, voice tense. They followed Riven discreetly until he reached a secret elevator leading deep underground. Jason glanced at Tally. "We need to see what he's up to." The elevator descended silently, revealing a hidden lab filled with glowing screens and strange machinery. On one screen, images of Jason and Tally flickered, monitored constantly. Suddenly, Riven turned around. "I knew you'd come," he sneered. "You're more curious than you should be." Jason raised the device and Riven's eyes glowed unnaturally. "I'm not just an official. I'm a sentry for those who want the program destroyed." Tally stepped beside Jason. "Why? What do they want?" Riven's voice dropped to a hiss. "Power. Control over all species. Your trust threatens their plans." Jason's mind raced. "Then we have to stop them, but how?" Before Riven could answer, alarms blared again. The hidden base shook violently. "Security breach," a robotic voice announced. Suddenly, doors slammed shut, trapping them inside. Jason grabbed Tally's hand. "We're not alone down here." The lights dimmed, and shadowy figures appeared. More robots, silent and deadly. Jason's heart pounded as they prepared to defend themselves. But just as the robots advanced, a sudden explosion rocked the lab, throwing everyone off balance. A group of rebels, program participants who had secretly resisted the takeover, stormed in. "We're here to help," their leader said grimly. "But we don't have much time." Jason and Tally joined forces with the rebels, rushing to escape through a series of tunnels beneath the program's headquarters. As they ran, Tally whispered, "This is bigger than we thought. The program's future, and maybe the fate of many worlds, depends on us." Jason looked at her, determination blazing in his eyes. "Then we can't fail." But the tunnels weren't safe. They echoed with distant footsteps, hunters closing in. The chase was on, the final choice. The tunnels beneath the program headquarters were dark and twisting. Every step echoed like a warning. Jason, Tally, and the rebels ran faster, their breaths shallow, hearts pounding. Behind them, the mechanical hunters gained ground. "We need to find a way out," Jason urged, scanning ahead for any sign of escape. Tally's eyes glowed faintly in the dark. "There's a maintenance shaft nearby. It leads to the surface, but it's narrow and dangerous." Without hesitation, Jason nodded. "Let's move." The group squeezed into the tight shaft, the cold metal walls pressing in. The hunters followed but slowed, unable to fit into the small space. As they climbed, the tension was unbearable. Suddenly, the tunnel shook violently. Rocks fell. The path ahead collapsed. Jason stopped, his heart sinking. "We're trapped." From behind, the hunters closed in, their footsteps mechanical and relentless. Tally stepped forward, face steady. "There's another way." She revealed a hidden panel in the shaft wall. Behind it was a narrow passage barely wide enough for a single person. "I'll go first," she said. Jason grabbed her arm. "No, we're in this together." Tally smiled softly. "Then we climbed together." One by one, they moved through the secret passage. Jason was the last to enter, and just as he did, a heavy metal door slammed shut behind him. He was separated from the others. The passage led to a small control room, filled with screens and blinking lights. On one screen, Jason saw Tally and the rebels trapped on the other side of the tunnel collapse. His chest tightened. "Tally!" Suddenly, a voice crackled from the speaker. It was the program director. "You've done well to get this far, Jason," the voice said, calm but chilling. "But now comes the final test." Jason's grip tightened. "What test?" The director's voice softened. "A choice." Jason scanned the control room. A single button glowed red in the center of the console. "Press this button," the director said. "You can save your friends or destroy the program forever." Jason's mind raced. Save his friends and continue the program's dangerous path or end it all, knowing it could also harm innocent participants. Memories flooded him. Tali's trust, the tests they faced, the growing threat inside the program. He closed his eyes. Then, with steady hands, he pressed the button. Alarms blared, but instead of destruction, the screens showed the tunnels opening. Tali and the rebels escaped, rushing toward the surface. The director's voice was gone. Jason felt a strange calm. The program's power had been broken, not by destruction, but by trust and courage. Moments later, Tali appeared in the control room, eyes wide with relief. "You did it," she whispered. Jason smiled. "We did it. Together." Outside, the sun rose over the horizon, bright and full of promise. The alien exchange program was over, but a new beginning had just started. The end. Or is it?